And hello again! I'm going to talk about another MMO because I have a problem. It really is a problem. I like MMOs too much and I'm just searching around for the right one and looking in all the wrong places. This one is Tree of Savior. It is another Eastern import and it is another MMO that I will not bother with. And I strongly suggest that no one else does as well. I know it's hard to be negative sometimes, but these things deserve it, they really do. It makes me hate MMOs. That's saying something. I love getting into a game. I love getting into a new world and playing with other people and figuring out new skills and mechanics and worlds and just getting to be a part of that. I even like grind, like just random meaningless grind. I get into that. I really do. But this game, it makes me hate it all, and it makes me hate it most of all. Now, if you've played MMOs before, and especially Asian MMOs, yes, I'm using that term, you would have played this game before. It is all those games. There must be some kind of base code out there on a website where they can just copy and paste to make most of their worlds. Yes, it has the same cartoony anime aesthetic. Yes, it's top-down 2D. Yes, it has the same grind, blah, 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 and probably the same instance maps and skills and all that kind of stuff. There is absolutely nothing interesting about this game. Now, looking around in the media, it might be interesting by saying, oh, I have 54 skills, but really, it's just a basic class progression where you get to a certain stage and you get a couple more skills. Amazing. That shit is not innovative. That is dumb. It works okay, like every 15 levels, yeah. You get to pick from a few new classes. Each of those gives you 4 new skills to pick from. And that goes on through, how many other hundreds of levels there actually is there. But you can go back over those. You don't actually have to decide between one and the other. You can go back towards these, and that's how you make your end class, your end progression class. I guess that's kind of interesting, and you can screw up your entire time by picking the wrong things. I generally like having those choices that you can make wrong, but I just didn't like the implementation. I was bored. I was seriously bored. I picked the cleric, and yes, the skills are kind of interesting, how it affects players and how it affects mobs, and you have a few ways you can change that around with certain traits that you can purchase, but the entire time you're just spamming these few skills over and over again with your kind of click, 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 click attack mode and not knowing the whole meta of the whole dex strength builds that just plow through everything. It just becomes cumbersome and tiring over time. There's these boss mobs I have to take on with a few of the missions. I found them incredibly easy, but it's this whole 5-minute getting to after level 20, 10-minute slog to get through this one monster where they're repeating the same handful of moves over and over again that are really easily telegraphed. So it's not an interesting fight. It's not even close to being interesting. It's mindless and boring and dumb. I hate it so much. The quest design is the same thing you'll ever see in every other Asian MMO. You talk to something, some little animation pops up with dialogue that you're supposed to read that's really quite inane and boring, as well as a few technical bugs occasionally. Yes, it's beta or whatever, but it's coming out soon. That should be fixed by now. And these missions are nothing but, the same go there, kill that, with no real interesting dialogue or reasoning behind it. And the monsters are entirely boring and repetitive as well. I just don't understand it. It's trying to bill itself as a new RuneScape, I guess, one of those Asian MMOs with a lot of options. And I get that. I haven't played RuneScape, but I do appreciate its approach. But this is nothing like that. This is a pale imitation. This is a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone. It's going to lose so much in that process that it becomes meaningless and worthless. Yes, I think I made through 20 or so levels of the game. And there's a few hundred more to do, I think, with the same instance map, the same boring kill routine, the same boring boss monsters with a few routines to get through. It's just inane and boring and grindy. What I expect from these Asian cartoony MMOs now, which is sad. It's really sad. I like the cutesy stuff. I really do. And I like anime. And I like MMOs. This is the worst of everything. Thanks everyone, and do not go near it.